Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.
Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. Here I am with my beautiful little girl Noah, and Mommy's behind the camera. Yeah. Well, we got another special show today. So I asked everyone a question on Facebook the other day. I said, what am I going to do with my garden that is going to, you know, we had a DVD contest, and I said, what am I going to do with my garden? You know, and I had all people guess about everything. Some of you got the answer half right. The answer is composting. What I am doing though is I'm going to use this compost for a flower bed around my house. And that's going to really make nice, beautiful flowers. And they're going to smell like roses. But I'm going to show you my compost system here, because I do keep it separate, because I have my compost for my garden, which is my kitchen scraps of food. And then I have my flower compost that I'm starting now, thanks to my name I gave this is Mr. Hanky's Hangout. And by the way, my hint to everyone was Heidi-ho! And if you've ever seen South Park, you know Hanky the Christmas Pooh said Heidi-ho, and one person got that right. So they got it. As a matter of fact, we're teaching Noah to say that. Heidi-ho! I've been talking about saving the environment and using natural resources as much as possible and not letting things go to waste. I mean, for a very long time, you know, I love recycling. Even when I was in Brooklyn, New York, I used to recycle. In this concrete city of the world, I used to recycle. What I did was I found a community garden, and even though I lived in a 4-story walk-up with no garden, I used to put my produce, when I was done the scraps, in my freezer, and then go and bring them over to a compost bin in a community garden. So I've always been into just, you know, using the resources that we've been given wisely, and I hate things going to waste. And I'll never forget when I was in Virginia once. I was doing a lecture and I was staying in a cabin. This lady had a beautiful cabin in the woods, but she said, my toilet is not working too well. And I'll never forget this. There was a sign on the toilet. Now, me being from New York, I never heard of this, but there was a sign on the toilet that says, if it's yellow, let it mellow, but if it's brown, flush it down. And I said to her, what in the world does that mean? Well, she says it's exactly what it means. It says it means. She says, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. What she says is, to conserve water, we should only flush when we make a poo. But if we're going to urinate in the water, we shouldn't flush. And right away it made sense to me, because I know we waste more water by flushing a toilet than any other thing we do that wastes natural resources. And you know, the water shortage is a big issue today, and we want to conserve it as much as possible. Gallons and gallons and gallons are wasted by simply flushing. I believe we should have a thing called pay-per-flush toilets. Unlike when we go today to the airport, and every time I walk past the stall, the sensor goes off on the toilet and just flushes automatically. What a waste of money. I can't even go on the toilet. If I just turn, it's flushing. You know, I know people, they tell me the story all the time. You know, what they'll do is, I have a friend, right? Not me, but I have a friend. But you go in the toilet and you know, you don't know who's been there before you, so you want it to be nice and clean. And the last thing you want is that water touching you, right? So you clean it up very nice and everything else, and you want to be real careful, and you want to make sure you're away from it when it flushes. But with these new sensors on, I mean, if you just on the bowl and you just turn, it starts flushing and splashing up and hitting you and everything else. You know, I remember when I went to Singapore many years ago, toilets there were a little bit different. I bet you didn't think this video was going to be about toilets. But toilets in Singapore, I remember I went to Singapore and I got to the most beautiful airport I've ever been to, and I've been to many airports. And I go to the bathroom and I open the stall and there's no toilet there. So I'm thinking maybe that one's in maintenance, and I go in the next one and there's no toilet. I'm like, what's going on? What if somebody has to go to the bathroom? And I just didn't understand. The next thing I knew is I saw there was just a hole in the ground. So I found the right person that spoke English. By the way, English is the #1 language in Singapore. Interesting note. I couldn't believe it, you know. So they understood me very well when I said, where's the durian? So I said, where's the toilet? Where's the toilet? And they said, right there. And they pointed to the hole in the ground. Apparently, you know, when you go to the toilet, when you're sitting down, like you would sit in a chair, it really crushes and squeezes your organs together, and you don't get full elimination when you go to the bathroom. In this country, and the reason why many people have colon problems other than their diets, is because they don't go to the bathroom the right way. They sit down like they're sitting in a chair, and their organs are not given the ideal way to do that. But what you can do is you need to squat. In Singapore, they just have bathrooms and holes in the floor, and people squat and they go. And apparently they have good elimination, because out of all the countries I've been, there are a lot of not a lot of overweight people there in Singapore. What is the point of today's video? Okay, so that leads me to today's topic. So putting this all together, what I really wanted to do was I wanted to, or I looked into it, I found out a compost toilet. A compost toilet. It just is one of my biggest passions because I really care. I really give a poo. It's a compost toilet, and this might sound crazy to the average person out there, but us raw fooders are already crazy, so this might not sound too crazy to you. How do I know you're crazy? Because they say you are what you eat, and we eat nuts, right? So, the compost toilet, here's what it is. You go to a toilet, it could be a barrel, it could be fancy, whatever, and you just take some sawdust and you put it right over the poo, and it doesn't smell, and it breaks down and you compost to soil. The best soil you can actually get. So we're going to show you how to do that right now. We're going to make Mr. Hanky's Hangout. Alright everybody, so we're going to build this Mr. Hanky's Hangout, and basically we're just building a box with a hole, and then on top of the hole we're putting some hinges so that board goes up and down, and behind that we're going to put a toilet, on that we're going to put a toilet seat, and then in there we're going to put a 5-gallon paint bucket, and that's going to where Mr. Hanky's going to hang out. So we got the hole cut already from the store. We went and got this cut. So it's a nice picture frame if it doesn't work out. Okay, so we got the hole cut up. We got the wood here. I'm just going to drill these holes together, make a little box here, and then I'm going to go ahead and just put this here on the top just like this. That's going to sit on the top. And we have another piece that's going to go here. And then the hinges will go here, and it'll lift up and down. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. And then the toilet seat's actually going to go right on top here. And so what we're going to do is we'll pick up the toilet seat, pick this up, take out the bucket, and so on. So it's a little complicated now for you to understand, but you'll see what we're just going to do. We're just going to, I'm basically going to drill the holes in here and put this together, and then you'll see more once I get the seat on how it's supposed to work. So hang out. Alright everybody, here's an update. So I just drilled all the holes and I put these hinges on, and now you can see more of how it's supposed to look. So right now we have this right here, and this is pretty much it. We have the legs which we'll put on to adjust, but the idea is we take the bucket here, we put the bucket in here, the bucket's in here, and when the legs are on, and this is about this high, this is going to come right over this. And then after that, the next thing we got to do, and the last thing is we put on the toilet bowl seat, and then after that we just sand down the sides. We could put some coat on it if we want, or some gloss, and then we can paint it if we want, or just leave it like that. I think I'm going to write on mine, Mr. Hanky's Hangout. Okay, so we're going to do that, finish it up, be back, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, but I can't test it for you because it's just not right to show that on camera. So we'll be back with the raw, really raw life.
This is the Raw Life Health Show.
And then I have over here another one, and this is for Mr. Hanky's Hangout, and that's what this one's going to be, and I'm just going to put it in here, put some hay or dirt over it, leave it sit there for about a year, and then after a year, by that time hopefully around the whole house, the perimeter of the house, we'll have some beautiful bright looking flowers, and we'll be able to use this for that. So we're not going to use this for the garden, don't worry. If you come to our house and you taste the vegetables, they won't taste like poo. But we're going to use this for the flower gardening outside. We're going to have kitchen scraps on the inside, and we're just going to have an amazing system here. I've always been part of, composting's always been special to me, but I never had much to do with it other than give it away. But now I'm going to be able to compost my kitchen scraps. I'm going to be able to compost my scraps, and it's going to be great.